seen some really sick games on this. Certainly in ZVP. I've also seen some really silly games on it. Now, the other day I was watching a Code A game. I think it was Creator versus Beyond. And Beyond, like, he went for Hellion Marauder on one base. It was cross map. Now this map is extremely big. And I don't want to talk about it. Maybe some people still want to see that game. But in any ways, it was just silly. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, what? Like, Beyond, you're so extremely good, but this is not really working. As he had like 4 Marauders queued up. 5 minutes into the game, he could have already dropped the command center so easily. He literally had 4 Marauders queued up in his racks. I was like, what am I watching? But overall, I've seen a couple of really exciting games on this map. I want to make also a joke, but I don't want to make a joke. I don't like to throw people under the bus, man. But it's a very funny joke. I will tell you off camera. Sorry, people at home.
I'm sure that I will laugh off camera, and maybe one day we'll get drunk and tell about it on a stream somewhere.
Yes, that's probably what's going to happen. Because the grass is always greener when we're drunk. Liquid Red is, of course, our Dutch Zerg spawning in the right bottom side of Whirlwind. While Arthur is our Korean Protoss, member of Team Slayers. I'm sure it's a former member of Team Slayers. Nobody has really any idea what's...
yeah, there's a lot of mystery sort of surrounding Slayers and what's going on over there. I've heard a couple of rumors.
Me too. I hope it's not as bad as it sounds, Ben, because it sounds pretty bad.
I heard, one of the rumors I heard was that the entire Slayers team has started playing League of Legends professionally.
Yeah. Well, that might be very good for them, because they're probably going to win a whole lot of money. Until Flash and MVP decide to pick up League of Legends, and there's like 5 guys? We don't need 5 guys. Like, Flash could be like the philosophical dinosaur. What if, instead of having 4 teammates, I just control all the heroes?
That's still my favorite unimpressed Flash meme. It was like, I played a game of LoL today. The other guy controlled his 5 heroes pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really funny. But, you know, I can see Flash sitting there. What if, instead I have 4 inferior teammates, I just do it all myself? Philosophical Flash.
Man, I'm convinced that Flash could do that. Like, he could probably last hit effectively in all 3 lanes. And
I don't even want to think about it. But I do think that if you like form a team of 5 really, really talented RTS players, that you have an absolute dream team in any MOBA game. And I'm not going to say that they're going to be the best team in the world, but they definitely have potential to be the best team in the world. At least regarding Dota 2 and Heroes of Newerth. And like League of Legends plays out a little bit differently. It's a much slower game, so I'm not sure. But in the other MOBAs, Ben, I always had faith in former RTS pros. You know that Angry Testy, very famous. Of course, you know him from Brood War. You know, he was like, on a certain point, he was considered to be the best Heroes of Newerth player in the world. I actually had the pleasure of playing some clan wars against him a few times. He was very, very good. Much better than me.
Fast 3 bases from Rhett here on Whirlwind. A little bit interested that Rhett chose Whirlwind as the deciding map. Perhaps he's got something planned for it. You have to feel like the Korean players probably have more experience on Whirlwind.
I think so as well, but maybe Red feels that Arthur is going to play the same way on this map as he played on Muspelheim. And I just feel that Red is not afraid to play against a Protoss player who plays Stargate on a big map, because then he knows he doesn't have to worry about any funky 2-base gateway all-in following up with the Stargate, or maybe like a quick robo, and then an all-in. And I think that Red always feel comfortable when if he can go up to 3/4 bases against Protoss, gets his drone count up, and then he's able to move around with his armies and stuff. I feel that Red prefers to play ZVP in that way, rather than on smaller maps where he has to worry about all sort of all-ins. And I think in general Red is very good against Stargate. I spoke with him a lot about this in the past. Red is just a fantastic guy, by the way, guys. Not just a player. He is fun to talk. You can talk with Red about everything. He's really funny. And the funny thing is, when you tell something funny to Red, Red looks at you, then he thinks about it, and then he smiles. He's like, I approve. It's pretty funny. Red is awesome.
Red has this entire process that his brain has to go through before he decides whether or not a joke is funny.
Yeah, it's hard to explain to you people at home, but we see +1 being researched, and it's a 1-gate robo, by the way, Ben. So this might be Arthur in the same way we saw him play against Moro in the 1st or 2nd week of the NASL Season 4, where he was really holding on to that Sentry Immortal playstyle. He did it so extremely well. And I think in that case, it's going to be pretty hard for Red to deal with this.
And that is a playstyle that Red has voiced some frustration with. He's struggled against it in the past.
Yeah, like for instance, Grubby used to do it against him for quite a few tournaments on the row, and then he said, I know it's coming, I just can't really deal with it. But then also later on he expressed that he feels a lot better against it by now. So, but it's always a scary build, man. It's just one of those builds that you know it's coming, but you still know it's going to be very hard.
We will see if that is in fact exactly what Arthur's going to do, is that First Immortal is already in production. Rhett, in the meantime, going up to lair, getting his Zergling speed, making a couple of lings. This is a pretty quick lair for Rhett, a 7-minute lair. with nothing on the ground. I wonder. I mean, we just saw him play Infesterling, and it was pretty similar opening well, no, because he stayed on 2 base.
Yeah, it was different, but it was also because the opening was different already with the quickest spawning pool and stuff. This is a much more of a standard Red. If Red paid attention, Ben, he might have seen when that +1 started. Now we see Archer going for a very quick armor upgrade as well, and that gives it even more away that Archer does want to go for Sentry Immortal 2 base play.
6 more gates, so Sentry Immortal 7 gateways. Now there are Muta styles that can counter this, and ST showed us a really neat sort of base race Muta style against this in the GSL some feels like months ago, but still a very viable alternative.
Yeah, man. Why are you talking? Well, you're right. Spire. It's being more too.
So that's what it will be. Now, for this to work out well for Red, he has to recognize what's happening. I think he does after that scout. He saw the sentry count.
This is so good already by Red. Just be active. You know when Protoss is on 2 base and nothing is happening, he knows exactly what's going on. He also knows what he has to do, and he needs to buy himself some time. And he also knows that you're not going to buy time if you just sit in your own base and get spine crawlers up, because then you're just praying that he doesn't attack you immediately. As long as you're dancing around with links, as long as you're being active in this middle of the map, you're delaying the push already.
And that's a very key, critical part of this kind of a play style. Now, eventually, we're going to need to see some spine crawlers out of Red. He's probably going to lose his natural. And
he has 51 links already, Ben, and 40 more are in production. Be careful against force fields.
This isn't the fight you want to take, Red. Force fields do go down.
Fine.
Bates 4 force fields. That's probably worth it. Lost a healthy number of lings, but I think it's not something that's going to kill him. Red's going to save up gas for 10, maybe 11 mutas here as that Spire becomes...
Oh, Red!
Closer and closer to completion. Now, this is a really dangerous fight to take. He's running up a ramp. He's committing these units. He's never going to get back out of there with these links, but he is going to kill a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah.
And that is so key. It makes the mutas a lot stronger, but he shouldn't want to fight with his mutas. His mutas are to trade with, and oh man, and he's so late adding the spine crawlers as well.
20 links and 14 mutalisks, man. What is Archer going to warp in right now? It's Stalker only, and this army is strong enough to deal with 13, 14 mutalisks. Oh god, this looks very, very tough for Red right now.
I really feel like that decision to fight at that last fight that we saw was maybe the wrong one. Red is going to engage here with the Zerglings and the mutas together. He's going to have to try and kill every single Stalker. It's going to be very, very hard. War Prism is just going to warp in right underneath these mutas. Red, you really need to take out the Prism. But it does not go down. Muta count is dwindling. Only 5 mutalisks remain, and Red has no choice but to tap out. GG is called. And Arthur will win 2-1. Oh, what a crushing loss there for Red. He had all the tools he needed to defend there, Kevin.
It's so many links out on the map. Just imagine, like Archer did make a full wall of at his natural. He warped in one more pylon. But in that moment, Ben, all that he has there is a full wall of, a cannon, and a pylon. So either you force a lot of defensive warp-ins, or he doesn't go for defensive warp-ins, and you run links into his natural. And that would be so much more devastating already. Because then the moment the mutas are out as well, which will come out anyways, you're gonna be able to base trade with links and mutas, and then you can just send all those drones around the map. And Whirlwind being such a big map.
Yeah, when you're fighting with Zerglings in that situation, guys, you have to realize you don't have any upgrades invested in those links. He didn't have +1 armor, and he was playing against a Protoss player that did have +1 attack. That means his Zerglings are going to die super fast. So when you're engaging that kind of army, your lings are just there to take shots off of whatever is going to deal damage, right? The lings are there to absorb damage. So they want to be fighting when there's spine crawlers in range, when there's mutalisks overhead. Man, that was just...
Just imagine if he would have taken that final fight with 50 links and those 30 mutas.
He crushes.
And immediately focus the Warp Prism, because that's all the reinforcements there are on that moment.
Yeah, and what if he starts 3 spine crawlers a little while sooner? You know, those are some of the just real key points that Red missed. I'm really sad to see Yost go down there.
Certainly, because in Game 2 he was in such fantastic position as well. This really must feel like a series that he just threw away.
What a bad day for Red.
Really bad day for Red. And even worse, man, if you look at the overall rankings right now, Red is 1 and 3? No, 1 and 4. Yeah, 1 and 3.
Yeah, he's having a tough go of it this season. In the
either 1 and 3 or 1 and 4 already after losing both best threes.
Means that he's already in danger of elimination at the end of this season. He has really got to start winning some games. That last game, guys, brought to you by GoToMyPC. Remote access to your computer from anywhere on the planet. You can get your own special promotional code, nice fat discount for your own GoToMyPC software if you head to nasl.tv/p/GoToMyPC. We're going to take a quick break. Our next match, Morrow versus Hasuab, a foreigner showdown. I'm really excited for this one. I'm hoping that we see the Morrow that we were hyped about this season of the North American Star League, rather than the Morrow that has been showing up, quite frankly. He's been playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm. Maybe that's one of the reasons why his results.
Really a lot of Heart of the Swarm. I think he has already close to 500 games on his beta account.
That's a ton.
That's a lot.
That is a ton. Guys, we're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Morrow Hasu when we get back.